Kim Kardashian has had enough. This complete debacle of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's making has made them even more toxic in Hollywood than they were before, and that is saying something. I'm going to take you through the briefing and the counter briefing about what the Daily Mail is describing as the Sussexes' Photogate snub. Because that newspaper has learned that the Kardashian clan are upset after Harry and Meghan demanded not to be pictured inside Kris Jenner's 70th birthday, which was extraordinary, of course, because just a few moments earlier, they had been pictured inside the event for Serena Williams. The newspaper writes, People magazine, the Sussexes' preferred publication in the US, has claimed that Meghan and Harry asked that no photographs of them inside the James Bond-themed party were published. A source close to the Kardashian camp has said they are baffled, given the Sussexes were happy to be pictured inside the Baby to Baby gala hours before the party where they posed with friend Serena Williams. Another male source in LA has confirmed that Harry and Meghan are believed to have ticked no on a photo consent form before going to the ball thrown for Kris Jenner by Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez. A California-based source told the Daily Mail today that Kim is fuming. Another expert said that Harry and Meghan have risked losing support from Hollywood A-listers that they need now more than ever. Kim was like, you've already been papped outside? And you were at the Baby to Baby event the same night being photographed like Meghan Trainor and Paris Hilton, so what's the problem? And they added, Kim is pissed off. And it's not a surprise, is it? Given that the Kardashians are the royal family of Hollywood. In fact, Rob Shooter has gone one step further, revealing that Kim Kardashian, after this debacle, has actually decided to cut off Meghan Markle altogether after what insiders are calling a total vibe clash at the birthday party. Sources close to the Kardashian camp say Kim was furious when Meghan's team requested that all pics of her and Harry be scrubbed from the internet. He reports a Hollywood insider saying Kim doesn't do take-backs. If you show up to a Kardashian production, you are part of the machine. Meghan tried to rewrite the narrative, and Kim hated that. The tension apparently started earlier in the night when Meghan politely but icily declined to film a simple greeting for the Kardashians on Hulu. Kim took it as a snub. She felt like Meghan acted like Buckingham Palace had arrived, and that goes down badly in Calabasas. Now insiders say Kim is done. Meghan made another Hollywood enemy, the friend confirms, and unlike royals, Kardashians don't forgive easily. As one LA publicist put it, you can ghost the royals, you cannot ghost the Kardashians. But I want to show you the other side of the argument because, of course, Harry and Meghan's team are desperately trying to dampen this down with a briefing to Tom Sykes of The Royalist explaining why their pictures were scrubbed. And he reveals that it was after a request was made by Harry and Meghan that the images of them at the party were not published. However, the truth, this is according to a source in Harry and Meghan's camp with direct knowledge of the arrangements, is actually A, that Harry and Meghan, along with other guests, were asked beforehand if they consented to images of them at the party being shared and had said no, despite perplexingly apparently allowing themselves to be photographed arriving. Photographic consent forms are now routine at high-octane gatherings, and the Sussex is fully in line with Hollywood etiquette circa 2025 tick no for inside shots. Someone on the Jenner social team missed the memo. The shots went live, a klaxon sounded somewhere, and down they came. He adds, I'm told Harry and Meghan were not particularly bothered by the photos being published, which is lucky, as they have now been saved by an army of Redditors. Turns out deleting a post of your hubby looking daft on the world's biggest digital megaphone produces the opposite of disappearance. The aged among us will know this as the Streisand effect. And more negative briefing about exactly how Meghan Markle was acting inside that party, with Page 6, previously an ally of the Sussexes, describing her as being in networking mode at the 70th birthday bash. They write, Meghan Markle mixed business with pleasure. She was definitely in networking mode, an insider told Page 6. She schmoozed with a lot of power players describing the Duchess of Sussex as cool. Meanwhile, Buckingham Palace insiders have told the newspaper that the royal family was shocked at Markle and Harry's appearance at Jenner's bash. According to their sources, the attendance shows that Harry is so far removed from the rest of the family. So, what to make of this briefing and counter-briefing? Well, I am absolutely delighted to say that returning to Outspoken, still in her hospital bed, bless her, is the incredible Lady Colin Campbell. Lady C, before we get to this nonsense, how are you? You've had your operation, but you're still not back at Castle Goring.
Dan, I'm still breathing.
Thank God for that. So you've had the operation, right?
Yes, I had it. They repaired my acetibula and they have done whatever they needed to do to my hip. Sorry, pelvis, not hip, pelvis. And so I'm not in as much pain as I was before, but it's been quite an ordeal, I don't mind telling. And the pain is not exactly something to ignore, but let's just truck on as if it's not happening.
Well, I love this. I love this, Lady C. I've been watching your videos on your own channel, and I thought, gosh, only Lady C would be ploughing on from her hospital bed, and it's been brilliant to see. When are you expecting to be back at the castle?
I'm hoping next week.
Okay.
I'm hoping next week, because I'm really lucky, because on the family floor, which you're very familiar with,
Yes,
there's a lift up to it, and everything is on the same floor. No steps, so it will be manageable, we hope.
I know.
So,
Thank God you have that lift.
but then I can't walk for 6 months.
6 months.
So
Oh
it's
my God.
it's very painful. So
It is. It is. Well, look, thank God that we've still got you, though. And that is the wonder of technology, isn't it? Because you're able to go forward. And I have been so desperate, Lady C, to talk to you about this debacle. I mean, the Daily Mail now, today, Lady C, calling this the Sussex's photo gate. And there's the briefing, but there's the counter briefing too. So from the Kardashians' point of view, they're saying, well, what the hell? I mean, you went to Serena Williams' event earlier in the night. You allowed pictures to be published from there. You turned up and allowed the paparazzi to take pictures of you. Why are you saying we can't release your pictures? From Harry and Meghan's point of view, they're saying, well, we ticked the box. We ticked the box. We said that we didn't want the pictures released. What is really going on here, Lady C? What is the truth?
well, I suspect, Dan, that both the Kardashians and Meghan and Harry are very adept at creating controversy and stirring the pot. And they know that nothing's going to create more controversy than a teensy-weensy falling out that assures everybody of getting what they want. So the Kardashians have got their photographs. Meghan is able to say that yet again she's been victimized because she ticked the box, and blah, blah, blah. I don't know what you think, but I think that's what's going on. I think the whole thing is basically a set of opportunists, and one could almost say grifters, all functioning in tandem to make sure that each one of them gets what they want, but that they ultimately can actually pose as victim or being taken advantage of. Because, of course, if the Kardashians are taking advantage of Meghan and Harry, that ratifies their superior status. And it means that they're royalty, and that royalty is not supposed to be photographed at things, blah, blah, blah. I think the whole thing is a put-up job. What do you think?
Well, I think that Meghan definitely wanted the photos out there. and then was able to say to Harry, oh, but I ticked the box. I ticked the box, H. So it's the terrible Kardashians who have done this. And I think Harry's mortification was partly because he saw the negative publicity in regards to those contrasting scenes, Lady C. I mean, it couldn't have been any more true royalty and Hollywood scum when you actually compared what they were doing on that Saturday night. You know, young Prince George sitting alongside his mother and King Charles to honour the war fallen at the Royal Albert Hall. And so the contrast was so great. Then when we finally saw the pictures of Harry inside Lady C, they were terrible images of him, right? So in one of the pictures, he's ogling Kris Jenner's boobs. Like, did you see that? I mean, it's mortifying.
Yeah.
And then he looked totally off his head in another one,
Yeah.
Lady C.
Well, that I think is the thing. I think that it was, I think they most likely were embarrassed that Harry looked as if he was doing one of his more ayahuasca moments.
What on earth could you mean? He had a cold.
Well, or he was using marching powder to make sure that he blew his nostrils out so that his brains functioned properly and could get him from the low point to the high point as quickly as possible. He looked as if he was out of his mind. And I mean, well, that is really just a creepy shot, I would have thought. But I mean, don't you think it's a little bit creepy? And
yeah, it's mortifying for him. It's mortifying for him because this is all about his downfall and about the fact that he never wanted to be here. And all of the optics were just so bad. And so I think Meghan was secretly happy the pictures are out there. I mean, we've known for a long time, Lady C, she has actually been desperate to be photographed with the Kardashians. And up until this point, it was actually the Kardashians who had been resisting her. Do you remember Kris agreed to have a picture with her mother, Doria, at an event a couple of years ago, but Meghan wasn't in the picture. So I do believe that Meghan wanted the pictures out there, but I think Harry saw them and freaked because he was also aware of how bad the headlines were in the United Kingdom at this point. But look, he just looked miserable to be there, didn't he? It was quite sad to watch the whole thing.
Well, I think he does look miserable when he's not looking as if, would somebody just give me a... And I'm not going to use the word.
There's a lot of legal highs in California, Lady C. I do always make that point. There are a lot of legal highs in that state.
But he looked as if he was begging Kris Jenner for a blowjob.
Well, Kris Jenner is looking good. Kris Jenner is looking good.
Listen, she looks a lot better and younger than his wife.
And she's 70.
Yeah.
But there was some other fascinating insight, Lady C, from inside.
He likes them older.
Well, indeed.
Sorry, what's that?
Well, I was just going to say there was some more fascinating insight from inside the event from Rob Shooter. Let me just take you through this and then I'll get you to respond. He writes, privacy, not at a Kardashian party. Shooter Scoop has learned that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were left horrified after realising Kris Jenner's 70th birthday bash was crawling with cameras, influencers and unfiltered footage all destined for Hulu. It's Meghan and Harry's worst nightmare come true. They thought it was going to be an elegant, private event. Instead, it was full-on Kardashian chaos. Cameras everywhere, boom mics and chandeliers, drones outside the mansion. Unlike traditional A-list events, no one was asked to hand over their phone. Guests filmed everything from Kim's champagne toast to Jeff Bezos's impromptu dance moves, and Kris collected all the best footage for an upcoming episode of The Kardashians. There were at least 3 professional camera crew rolling all night, says a source. Even the security team had GoPros. Meghan looked mortified. Harry tried to laugh it off, but you could tell he wanted out. The royal couple slipped away before midnight, just as the lights dimmed for a surprise performance. They came to network and got reality TV, the insider adds. But I mean, Lady C, what the hell were they expecting?
Well, this is why I say, Dan, I think the whole thing is a put up job. Of course, they knew what to expect. I mean, what do you expect if you are involved with the Kardashians? They knew exactly what to expect. They knew exactly what was going to happen. And anything to the contrary is a pretense and shows yet again how very adept Meghan is at turning opportunism into victimhood. I mean, she's the one who has targeted the Kardashians for years so that she would get to be a part of, at least occasionally, an event that where she's with them in the inner circle. And now, all of a sudden, she's being victimized and she has something to complain about. She doesn't have anything to complain about. You know, you go to a party, and if you're photographed, you're photographed. If you're not, you're not. I mean, all this nonsense about that royalty doesn't do this. You go to royal events, they have a rota photographer there. He's photographing the, the event. Not all royal events are photographed, but some are. And it's incumbent upon the guests to not look as if they're desperate for blowjobs and have just been sort of marching through Bogota, snorting all sorts of marching powder.
Yes, of course. Those legal highs. Can I just stress? Those legal highs in
Absolutely.
California? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Of course, the other laughing stock of the internet, Lady C, and what's interesting about this, right, is that the people who they are now the laughing stock with are the folk, actually the sort of woke folk who originally were supporting them, but all over the internet, the fact that they can't handle a Kardashian party has turned them into a joke. And I just want to show you one hilarious example on TikTok, Lady C. Watch this.
Okay, stay calm. Stay regal. Wait for people to notice you. Just smile. Keep smiling. Scan the room. Look around mysteriously. Oh my goodness, aren't you? I know I've seen you somewhere. Your energy, it's so cinematic.
I'm the server.
Well then, server, I'll have a glass of champagne. Blend in, but also stand out. Mostly stand out. H, stay with me. We're looking for Jeff and Chris, and the producers of the Bond franchise. If I could just speak to them about my range, they'll definitely consider casting me. So this is what it's like to mingle with the elite. Yes. Network my way into destiny. Ooh, what's going on over there? Come on, H. Can we just get in here?
Oh, it's so true, isn't it, Lady C? She's got it in one.
Well, exactly. They've got it in one, haven't they? And all of the full outrage that they didn't expect this and they didn't expect that. And, I mean, honestly, are they not aware of the fact that everybody can see through them now? And I mean, this sort of conduct is to be expected, but it's certainly not to be admired.
No, indeed not. And Lady C, while all of this is going on, actually, there's a much more serious drama, in my view, for Prince Harry. And it involves this court case that we have been closely following, which is meant to begin in January versus the Mail newspapers. And this is the problem, Lady C. When you lie down with rats, you are going to catch the fleas. And by lying down with the jokers and the phone hacking criminals at Byline Times, I think Harry has destroyed his reputation permanently. I'm going to take you through some of the details here for folk who haven't been keeping across this. So the Prince Harry phone hacking witness has now admitted formally that his confession was false. The big problem here, of course, is that it was his confession that actually prompted Harry to begin the court case in the first place. So here's the Telegraph reporting. The private investigator whose apparent confession prompted Prince Harry and others to sue the publisher of the Daily Mail has claimed that his pivotal witness statement was, quote, completely false and the signature a forgery. Gavin Burrows claimed that a witness statement dated August 2021, in which he appeared to admit targeting a large number of private individuals over a number of years by hacking phones and bugging cars, was prepared by others without my knowledge. 5 of the 7 claimants, including the Duke of Sussex, Sir Elton John and Baroness Lawrence, have told the High Court they embarked on the high-profile legal action against Associated Newspapers, that's the Daily Mail publisher, based on evidence apparently obtained by Mr. Burrows. And Tom Sykes has a very interesting take on this on the Royalist blog, writing that there is now trouble for Prince Harry because guess what, mate? Phone hackers can't be trusted. And he writes, I've always felt that the problem with Prince Harry's big phone hacking case against the publisher of the Daily Mail, which is set for a blockbuster courtroom showdown in January, is that so many of the characters involved seem to be shady private investigators or admitted phone hackers themselves now claiming to have seen the light. Poacher termed gamekeeper hardly begins to cover it. Now one of these shady tabloid resources, a private investigator named Gavin Burrows, has said that his confession to a lurid parade of phone hacking crimes was completely false and that the signature was a forgery. Unhelpfully for Harry's side, Burrows also claims to have received lots of cash from lots of different people and to have had a mysterious meeting with Harry's high-profile barrister David Sherborne in a London park, where Sherborne grilled him about his investigative techniques. Now, I'm sorry, Lady C, how on earth can Harry be stupid enough to let this case come to trial in January? Surely he has to walk away now. He has to realize that he has been lied to by these charlatans and by these criminals at Byline Times, who, by the way, lied to him about me as well. And he tried to ruin my life based on lies because he believed these criminals. I mean, he's a bloody idiot. He is a fool, but he's got to walk away from this case now, does he not?
Well, Dan, I mean, I want to make 1 or 2 points. First of all, insofar as your matter with Byline Times was concerned, I don't think Harry is an innocent in any of this. I do not think that is an unwilling traveler. I think Harry is very happy to go along with anybody who is going to point him where he wishes it to go. That's the first thing. The second thing is everybody is acting as if Gavin Burrows, this application regarding Gavin Burrows' recantation of his statements that he says was a forgery is new. There's nothing new about this. I have been reporting on this on my channel for at least a year, or if not a year, nearly a year. All of this is old news. I mean, it's amazing that it's being presented as if it's new news, because it's not. They have they being the whole lot of them, David Sherborne, Elton John, Sadie Frost, Doreen Lawrence, Harry, they are in deep hot water, because the fact of the matter is that it has been known for some time now that Gavin Burrows has categorically denied ever having issued that statement. And we're now speaking about some time ago, but the case has been trundling along as if that statement were valid. And the latest move by David Sherborne and his team is that they don't need to rely upon the statement, because they have hearsay that can be a substitute for it. But the fact of the matter is, if the linchpin evidence in a case is disputed by the person who is supposed to have given it. And the participants in the case, the claimants, have already stated that they got involved purely as a result of their belief that this original statement, which has been asserted to be a fraudulent statement, a forgery, what justification do they have for allowing this case to continue to trundle through the courts? I don't know if you realize the seriousness of it all, because it is a serious criminal offense to utter a forgery in evidence. It is a serious criminal offense to try to pervert the course of justice. I mean, I've done videos on this from months ago on all of this and the consequences of all of this. I mean, they are all looking at serious criminal charges being brought against them if it can be proven that this was a forgery fabricated by Harry's team to create a lawsuit. And also, the judge has bent over backwards so far to allow evidence that was even time barred on the basis of the fact that he was giving Harry's side every opportunity to be able to justify their case, even to being allowed to open up time-barred matters. I mean, do you see how totally serious this is?
Totally.
I mean, one of the possible consequences of this is if it emerges incontrovertibly that Gavin Burroughs never signed that statement, that means that Harry and his legal team and his fellow claimants have all been parties to a fraud, and a very serious fraud. And let's remember that Harry, in his memoirs, made it absolutely clear that David Sherborne is the one, when he was staying with Meghan when Archie was a little baby, and it was too great a distance for them to travel up to Balmoral to see the late Queen Elizabeth II, but it was not too great a distance to travel further to the south of France to see David Furnish and Elton John. And it was on that occasion that Elton John and David Furnish orchestrated the meeting with David Sherborne, which led to David Sherborne enlightening Harry as to the fact that he had a casus belli against the newspapers. So this is in black and white. Harry has confirmed that he walked into a situation where he was led to believe that certain things untoward had happened, and he had legal actions against certain newspapers, and that he could prevail. If it emerges that, and the evidence points very strongly, according to the Associated Newspaper side, to the fact that this whole thing has been orchestrated and created in more ways than one. Because let's remember, a few months ago, there was the whole business of them having created opportunities to be able to extend time frames. So if that, in conjunction with this latest assertion that Gavin Burroughs' statement is a forgery means they can all be charged with serious crimes. Now, the main reason why Prince Andrew lost his princely rank is not because of the Virginia Giuffre mess. It's because of all of the other messy things that have happened in terms of financial dealings. Harry is very much in line for losing his princely rank, because if he is in any way, shape, or form involved in a major lawsuit against a major newspaper, which is going to cost £38 million minimum. So whoever loses has to cough up £38 million. I mean, you are looking at a serious level of will there be charges of fraud, of forgery, of attempt to pervert the course of justice. And there is strong evidence for the fact that these matters have taken place, and they could all end up being charged with various crimes, depending on how complicit each of them turns out to have been in cooperating with the fabrication of evidence.
Absolutely fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. And of course, it does play into that whole idea that William doesn't want Harry to have his Duke title anyway. So we're going to keep across this one, as is Lady C.
Royal News Bulletin, 15th of November, 2025. King Charles has expressed a strong desire to support Princess Eugenie and Princess Beatrice through what has been described as an extremely difficult period following the recent removal of their father's royal titles. Royal observers have noted that the monarch views it as his responsibility to provide guidance and inclusion for his nieces during this challenging time, ensuring they feel integrated into family activities and royal initiatives rather than mere occasional guests. Princess Eugenie, aged 35, recently participated in her first official royal engagement since the events surrounding her father. She attended a mentoring session organised by the King's Foundation, an organisation established by King Charles himself. During the event, held at Broadwick, Soho in London, the princess was photographed smiling while interacting with members of the Foundation's 35 Under 35 network. She had assumed the role of an official mentor for this group in the month of May in the year 2025. Royal commentator Ingrid Seward suggested that this appearance represented a deliberate and positive gesture from the King toward embracing both nieces more fully within the royal sphere. She indicated that the King aimed to involve them in meaningful contributions, drawing on their individual strengths, such as Eugenie's extensive expertise in the art world, where she has served for many years as an associate director at the prestigious international gallery Hauser and Wirth. Seward emphasised the King's compassionate nature, highlighting how he sought to offer the young women purposeful roles amid their personal struggles, including raising young children with supportive partners, to affirm their place within the family structure. The expert further described the occasion as a clear message that the actions of a parent should not overshadow the achievements or standing of their children. She attributed this approach to the King's deep personal faith, which she believed motivated his commitment to reassuring the nieces and their families of ongoing protection and care. Even after the formal revocation of her father's titles, confirmation emerged that both Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie would retain their own royal designations without alteration. At the gathering, Princess Eugenie addressed the participants, sharing insights into how her lifelong interest in the arts had influenced her professional path. She conveyed her delight in connecting more deeply with the talented young individuals in the network, learning about their projects and ambitions, and expressed eagerness to assist in their future endeavours. She noted that collaborating with the King's Foundation brought her great satisfaction, particularly in nurturing emerging artists and creatives. The Foundation's official social media update described the morning as a productive mentoring session featuring Princess Eugenie and the 35 under 35 cohort. It detailed how the event united emerging leaders with seasoned professionals from diverse fields to exchange guidance and forge connections, ultimately fostering growth in the participants' careers and skills. The organisation extended thanks to all involved for contributing to such an uplifting experience. Reports suggested that the king had previously urged his younger brother to relinquish his positions voluntarily, primarily to shield the reputations and well-being of the princesses, for whom he holds considerable fondness. This session occurred just 1 day prior to charges being filed against Hauser and Worth for allegedly violating United Kingdom sanctions related to Russia. The gallery, where Princess Eugenie has held her directorial position since 2015, faced accusations of providing luxury items, specifically a painting titled Escape from Humanity by American artist George Kondo, to an individual associated with Russia during the period from April to December in the year 2022. Authorities, including Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs, led the investigation, marking it as the first such prosecution under the luxury goods export restrictions imposed following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. There was no indication of the princess's involvement in the transactions, and the gallery affirmed its dedication to full compliance with all legal requirements, including sanctions protocols. In the preceding week, photographs captured Princess Eugenie and her sister Princess Beatrice embracing warmly on a London street, marking their first joint public sighting since their father's title revocation. The images showed the siblings engaged in an earnest discussion in the Mayfair district before parting with a heartfelt hug, appearing to offer mutual comfort amid the unfolding circumstances. This development followed King Charles, aged 76, issuing a formal letters patent to divest his brother of the prince title, effectively designating him a private citizen. The decree also compelled the former royal to vacate the 31-room Royal Lodge residence in Windsor, transitioning to more modest private quarters. Buckingham Palace announced that the individual, previously known as Prince Andrew, would henceforth be addressed as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, relinquishing not only the Prince designation, but also associated honours such as Duke of York, Earl of Inverness, Baron Killyleagh, His Royal Highness style, the Order of the Garter, and Knight Grand Cross of the Royal Victorian Order. The measures stemmed from prolonged scrutiny over the former royals' associations with the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein and allegations of sexual misconduct levelled by Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's victims who passed away by suicide in April of this year at age 41. Newly disclosed documents from Epstein's estate, released by the United States House Oversight Committee, included emails from the year 2011 that appeared to authenticate a widely circulated photograph from 2001 depicting the then Duke of York with his arm around the 17-year-old Giuffre at Ghislaine Maxwell's London residence. In one correspondence, Epstein acknowledged the image's legitimacy to a journalist, noting that Giuffre had been on his aircraft and posed for the picture alongside the Duke, as had several of his staff members. Additional exchanges revealed Epstein's efforts to discredit Giuffre's broader claims and suggested the Duke had implored Epstein and Maxwell to publicly assert his ignorance of impending accusations, stating he could no longer endure the pressure. The former royal has consistently rejected all assertions of impropriety, maintaining that the photograph in question had been manipulated. He settled a civil claim with Giuffre out of court in the year 2022 without conceding fault or issuing remorse. This concludes the Royal Bulletin. Thank you for listening.